Hi there, how's it going? It's kind of a dreary Monday. It's very overcast today, so I thought I'd try and pick my spirits up a little bit by talking about some exciting stuff. Some exciting stuff that'll be coming out in movie theaters next year. At least I hope they will. I haven't been making a lot of videos the past couple of months, but this is one that I definitely don't like to do without. I'm always looking forward to what's on the horizon, what's about to be made, what's being made, what's about to be released. I just saw the trailer for Insurgent last week. I didn't really like Divergent all that much, but this movie looks pretty exciting, so I'll be checking that out. I have a few honorable mentions, I guess, but I'm not really going to be going into that. Mostly just focusing on my little top 10 here, as usual. And my number 10 is Joy, which I really wish was actually called Miracle Mop, but what are you going to do? Joy is the new film by David O. Russell. It's based on a true story, a woman whose name is Joy, who invented something called the Miracle Mop, and apparently had a lot of, made money from it, or had a really crazy infomercial or something like that. I'm not really sure what the story is. But Jennifer Lawrence, who has been in the last couple of movies, is playing this woman. Her husband is played by Edgar Ramirez, and Robert De Niro and Bradley Cooper have also appeared in David O. Russell movies, are co-starring as well. Don't know a lot about it, but you know, David O. Russell, Jennifer Lawrence, winning combination in general. Number 9, 8, The Hateful Eight, the new film by Quentin Tarantino. This is Tarantino's last couple movies have been a little bit disappointing for me, especially Django Unchained, which had a whole ending that I felt was completely unnecessary. Thought that movie could have ended like 10-15 minutes earlier, would have been much better. But this is a chamber drama, if you will, that takes place in one location, a snowed-in bar, hotel perhaps of some kind, in which a whole bunch of characters are gathered and stuck inside and have to deal with each other because they're, you know, disagreeable types. I think it's a Western of some kind. The main character is played by Jennifer Jason Leigh. She's basically a prisoner sentenced to jail or execution or something like that, being transported somewhere en route. Some other people who are in this movie include Bruce Dern, Demian Bichir, Channing Tatum, Walton Goggins, as well, of course, as a few Tarantino veterans. You've got Tim Roth and Michael Madsen from Reservoir Dogs, Kurt Russell and Zoe Bell from Death Proof, and Samuel L. Jackson from literally every single other Tarantino movie that he's made besides those two. So, although Tarantino occasionally has disappointed me the last couple times, of course, any movie that he makes is definitely something that I'm going to be paying attention to. Number 8, Nice Guys. This is the new movie written and directed by Shane Black, who previously did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Robert Downey Jr. and of course was hired to direct Iron Man 3, which I liked very much, both of those movies. The stars of this movie are Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. A few other people. Really don't know a thing about this movie. I think that it might be about homicide detectives in the 40s. Don't quote me on that, I really don't know, but you know, Shane Black, dialogue, great guy, great with dialogue. Looking forward to that one as well. And those two actors are quite good. Number 7, Spectre. Spectre is the newest James Bond movie. Who would have thought that Sam Mendes would become this incredibly successwh James Bond director after Skyfall? Daniel Craig, of course, is in this one again, as is Ralph Fiennes. And Ben Whishaw as Q. Some of the new people include Christoph Waltz, who apparently is not playing Ernst Stavro Blofeld, Monica Bellucci, Léa Seydoux, who is in Ghost Protocol, and Blue is the Warmest Color, and of course Dave Bautista, who played Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy, my favorite performance in that movie. Yeah, again, Sam Mendes could be very cool, you know, it's something to look forward to. It's a big question mark for me. Most James Bond movies are, actually. But hey, you know, it's something that could be very, very great, given what they did with Skyfall, which turned out very nicely. The latest Joel and Ethan Coen film is called Hail Caesar. It's a comedy set in Hollywood in, I'm not sure exactly what time period exactly, but involves the making of a sword and sandals Roman epic. George Clooney is the main character. He's been in several Coen Brothers movies already. Also Josh Brolin, who played the lead in No Country for Old Men. Channing Tatum, Jonah Hill, Tilda Swinton, Fisher Stevens. Been a long time since I've seen that guy in anything. And Ralph Fiennes. I'm very curious to see how Ralph Fiennes does in a Coen Brothers movie. That should be fun. Anyway, it's a comedy, definitely, so that's cool. Number 5? Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 6. This one is 5. Something that you might have heard of. It's has something to do with a thing called the Force, and some people, some of whom are good, some of whom bad, and they have light-up swords, and they fly around in ships. Aside from that, I don't know a whole lot about it. You've got some fairly new people, a lot of fairly fresh faces in this movie. Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones, Lupita Nyong'o from 12 Years a Slave, John Boyega from Attack the Block, Adam Driver from Girls and This Is Where I Leave You, Daisy Ridley, who hasn't been much of anything that I've seen, Oscar Isaac from Inside Llewyn Davis, and Domhnall Gleeson from About Time. Also, Andy Serkis, love that guy. Max von Sydow, he's very cool. But for me, the really big attractions are going to be the veterans from the original trilogy, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, seeing them reprise their roles from the original Star Wars trilogy in this new movie many years after they finished Return of the Jedi. Yeah, it's hard not to be excited about this. Although I'm not the hugest fan of J.J. Abrams, he's certainly a good choice considering the kind of people they could have drawn upon. I was a little disappointed that they didn't pick Brad Bird because I thought he would have been perfect, but as it turns out, Brad Bird's making another movie that will also come out next year, so good on him for that. Yes, longtime Star Wars fan, can't help but be excited about that. Number 4, 5, or Mission Impossible 5 anyway. This doesn't have an official title yet. I assume it will be something other than simply Mission Impossible 5, seeing as the last one ditched the number in the title, Ghost Protocol. The director of this is Christopher McQuarrie, who previously directed Tom Cruise in Jack Reacher, which is a movie I like very much, and he also directed Way of the Gun, and he wrote The Usual Suspects, so that's some nice cred right there. Pretty much all the heroes from Ghost Protocol are supposed to be back in this one. Tom Cruise, Paula Patton, Jeremy Renner, Simon Pegg, and the new big star in this movie is Alec Baldwin. So that'll be exciting. Number 3. Yes, number 3. Mad Max Fury Road. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the original Mad Max movies. In some ways, they're exciting, but you know, it's not like I'm a hardcore fan of this. However, George Miller, who directed the previous 3, is back directing this one. He's got Tom Hardy taking over the role of Max from Mel Gibson, and they didn't actually shoot this in Australia. It was actually shot in Africa because Australia had such nice weather. It didn't fit the look of the movie. But if you've seen either of the teasers, you know what to expect from this. It's just like burnt orange coloring throughout the whole thing, and the whole movie is basically one massive long chase with minimal dialogue. I think practically the dialogue that's in the trailer is pretty much half the dialogue in the movie. Not a lot of dialogue in this movie, mostly just people driving out after each other and screaming and shooting and crashing each other, things blowing up in spectacular fashion. Looks very, very exciting. Charlize Theron, Nicholas Hoult, and Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, from the third Transformers movie. They're all in this movie. But yeah, just judging, even if I didn't know anybody who was in this movie, just looking at the trailer, I'd go, wow, gotta see that. That looks amazing. I mentioned Brad Bird earlier. His movie coming out in May is called Tomorrowland. It's sort of a Disney takeoff on Disney. Girl finds this weird portal that takes her to a magical theme park where lots of crazy stuff happens. Again, don't really know much about this movie, but Brad Bird is definitely the man here, you know, and I'll be looking forward to anything he does after seeing Ratatouille and The Incredibles and The Iron Giant, and of course he also directed Ghost Protocol. George Clooney is the main character in this one as well. Hugh Laurie and Judy Greer are also in this movie. That's exciting, really exciting. That's my number 2 movie. And finally, from the director of The Guilt Trip, 27 Dresses, and The Proposal, Don't Mess with Texas, starring Sofia Vergara and Reese Witherspoon. No, I'm not looking forward to that much. It could be fun, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. No, my actual number one is, of course, Avengers Age of Ultron, which once again is being written and directed by Mr. Joss Whedon, one of my favorite writer-directors ever since, his original Buffy television series. He's also the director of Serenity, which is also great, and the creator of Firefly, and Dollhouse, and Angel, and Dr. Horrible, and he's generally extremely awesome. Most of the people from the first Avengers movie is back, including Colby Smulders as Maria Hill, and some of the new people are Elizabeth Olsen and Quicksilver, although he's played by a different actor from X-Men Days of Future Past, and of course James Spader doing the voice of Ultron, the villainous robot. Now the only issue I might have with this movie is when I watch the trailer, I hear Red Reddington from the Blacklist. I don't hear Ultron. I hear Spader doing Red Reddington. So I don't know how that. I hope that if I completely ignored the Blacklist, the series, if I'd never watched an episode, or if I hadn't watched regularly, then it probably wouldn't bother me as much. But I have lots and lots of confidence in Mr. Whedon and his cast and all these people. It's going to be really exciting, and just in general, really, really cool. So yeah, that's my number one. I also wanted to quickly mention Emmanuel Lubezki, the cinematographer, who has gotten a lot of acclaim the last few years. He is the guy who served as director of photography on Sleepy Hollow, Children of Men, The Tree of Life, Gravity, and Birdman, which came out this year. He's an extremely talented guy, and he's got 4 movies in the pipeline. I don't know if all these movies are going to be coming out next year, but they could. There's a movie called Last Days in the Desert, which is directed by Rodrigo Garcia and stars Ewan McGregor as Jesus. He is also the cinematographer on The Revenant, I think that's how you pronounce it, The Revenant, which is also directed by the guy who did Birdman, Alejandro Inarritu, and stars Leonardo DiCaprio and I think Tom Hardy as well. Plus 2 Terrence Malick movies. Terrence Malick has directed 2 films which haven't been released yet. Both of them have big casts. I think Natalie Portman and Christian Bale are in both of them. I think at least Christian Bale's in both of them. He was also in The New World. Yeah, I don't know when these are coming out exactly or what they'll be called, but they might be called Lawless and Knight of Cups. But don't quote me on that. I really don't know. But Lubezki is someone who I've really come to admire lately. As it turns out, he was even a cinematographer on Reality Bites and The Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers. 2 movies that I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to check out. But yeah, he's clearly the man when it comes to DPing some of these movies right there. So there's my little list of movies I'm looking forward to. I hope that some of these appeal to you as well. I have a Facebook page, of course. The link to that is below if you're watching this on YouTube. You can share with me what you're looking forward to seeing, or if you disagree with my choices or what have you, or just give me feedback in general. That would be awesome. Thanks very much for watching. See you again real soon. Bye.